most horrifying coming-of-age tradition you've escaped from? In my village, parents buried their daughters alive for 24 hours on their 16th birthday in wooden boxes underground because they believed facing death would make us worthy of marriage. Every woman I knew had survived it. My mother, my aunts, all my female cousins. They shared the same hollow eyes, the same way of flinching at small spaces. Nobody talked about what happened in those boxes, but everyone knew girls who hadn't come back up. I watched them bury my cousin Soledad when I was 14. The men lowered her pine coffin into the 6-foot hole while the women sang funeral hymns. They gave her 1 bottle of water and a bell to ring if she was dying, but ringing meant failure, meant weakness, meant your bloodline was cursed with cowardice. When they pulled Soledad up 24 hours later, she couldn't stop shaking. Her lips were blue. She slept with lights on for the rest of her life, but she never rang the bell. My mother started preparing me that same year. She'd lock me in our root cellar for hours to practice darkness. She'd make me lie in the bathtub with boards across the top to simulate the coffin. She'd restrict my breathing with scarves around my chest to prepare for the weight of earth. I had 2 years to plan, 2 years of sneaking out at night to dig. The burial field was marked with white stones where each girl would go. I found mine and dug my own salvation. 6 feet down, then 3 feet sideways. A hidden tunnel with air pipes I stole from construction sites. I stockpiled water, food, flashlights, even sedatives from my grandmother's medicine cabinet. My 16th birthday arrived like a death sentence. The entire village gathered at dawn. My father had built my coffin himself, carved with flowers. My mother braided white ribbons in my hair. The elders blessed the ground and spoke about female submission, about how suffering created perfect wives. They lowered me as the sun peaked. My mother's face was the last thing I saw, tears cutting through her proud smile. Then darkness, the thud of dirt on wood, layer after layer sealing me away from life. I waited until the footsteps faded above. Then I kicked through the pre-weakened side panel into my tunnel. Fresh air from my ventilation system hit my lungs. I crawled into the space I'd created and started my timer. 24 hours of staying buried but staying alive. After 6 hours, I heard scratching through the earth, another coffin being lowered nearby. Muffled screams, frantic bell ringing, but nobody came. The bell rang for 10 minutes before going silent. I broke through the dirt wall between us. A girl named Marisol fell into my tunnel, gasping and crying. She was only 15. Her parents buried her early because they'd caught her writing love letters. We spent 18 hours underground together. I shared my supplies, taught her the breathing exercises, kept her calm when panic set in. We whispered about lives we'd never get to live if we died down here. When they dug us up, they expected 2 broken girls. Instead, we crawled out holding hands, filthy but furious. The crowd gasped. 2 girls in 1 hole, both alive, both unbroken. My mother's face went white when she saw Marisol. The elders immediately started shouting about tradition being violated, about how we'd cheated the ritual. My father grabbed my arm, hissing that I'd humiliated our bloodline. But I wasn't done. In front of the entire village, I told them about the tunnel, about the girl whose bell they'd ignored, about the real tradition, letting daughters die to create submissive wives. The elders called an emergency meeting that night. My parents locked me in my room while they attended. Through my window, I could hear shouting from the community center. My mother came home sobbing, my father silent with rage. The next morning, they tried to bury me again. My father and 3 uncles dragged me from bed. My mother packed a second coffin with no water this time. The elders declared I needed a true burial, since I'd corrupted the first one. But Marisol had talked too. Her family refused to participate. 3 other families pulled their daughters from upcoming ceremonies. The photographer who'd been hired to document my burial for our family album caught everything. The forced second attempt, my screaming, my mother's dead eyes as she watched. He sent it to news stations that night. By the time they'd forced me into the second coffin, reporters were already driving to our village. They pulled me out after 3 hours when the first news van arrived. The tradition died in the flash of camera lights and the questions they couldn't answer about dead daughters. My family disowned me completely. They held a real funeral, buried an empty coffin with my name on it. They tell people I died in the first box, that what came out was a demon wearing my face. My mother burns sage when she sees me in the market. My father spits on the ground, but my sister Paloma won't be buried. Neither will Marisol's cousins or any other girl in our village.